Hi everybody, welcome back to Lockdown Lessons Part 46. With me today, I've got Michael Dubicki from Flexi Offices. So firstly, I just wanted to say a big hello to you, Michael.
Hello.
Hi everybody, and hi to you, Michael. So for the people that are actually watching this that don't know who you are and don't know Flexi Offices, perhaps you could just give us a bit of an intro, please, Michael.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, Flexi Offices, we're a consultancy. We help companies find flexible office space, in a nutshell. We've been active for over 20 years now, and I guess what drives us is really the belief that workspace has a huge impact on helping people and companies thrive. And really, we try to make sure that clients find the workspace that achieves that. But my role in the business is effectively everything that isn't sales or finance is me. So I do everything from digital advertising to marketing to partnerships to new revenue streams. I'm very much a jack of all trades. But yeah, it's hopefully better at most than not better at most.
So and which areas do you operate in? Are you UK wide? Are you Europe wide?
So we cover, with the business started off primarily in the UK. So we cover the whole of the UK as part of the course, but we do also have a significant international coverage. So we have an office in Australia that covers the Asia Pac region. And in essence, wherever in the world you need flexible office space, we are able to facilitate that.
Fantastic. So as I said at the start of this interview, we call these lockdown lessons for a very good reason. We want to find out as much as possible about people like yourself and how you've coped with the rigors the world's thrown us over the last sort of 19 months or so.
Yeah.
So at what point did you sort of think there might be a problem commercially then, Michael?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's because we're in, we deal with office space. For us, it was very evident very, very early on. And really, as the sheer scale of the pandemic started to, make itself clear, the priority for businesses in terms of, finding office space just plummeted down that list of things that they had to take care of. I mean, to give you an insight, April 20, which was the real sort of the first big hit to the business, our inquiry volume dropped year on year by more than 80%. So we went from huge levels of activity in Jan and Feb, which were the busiest months we'd ever seen, to almost nothing. So it was very early on that it became clear that it was a huge issue. And what we didn't know is how long it was going to last for.
No, I remember arguing with someone saying, I think this is going to be done in 3 weeks, and they would say, no, it'll be definitely 4 weeks, I think. It just shows how little we all knew at the time. We didn't have.
Well, hindsight's 2020, but it's I mean, you have to have pretty strong glasses to look back 24 months, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It's impossible, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so how did you manage to adapt to the sort of changing environment you found yourself in, Michael?
Well, so our business we're quite lucky in a way because our business is a fairly straightforward model. We don't own any of the property. We act as an intermediary between clients looking for space and the property companies that offer it. So we really only had to deal with 3 major cost areas, which is wages, rent, and digital advertising, which we spend a huge amount of money with Google. That's the entirety of our model. You type in office space, Holborn or whatever. And we come up top of the list, but you have to pay heavily to be top of that list. So it's obviously we took advantage of furlough as everybody else did. But being in flexible offices, we were able to very quickly negotiate with our landlords to actually downsize our space and to offset a huge amount of that cost, which is a big plus with these serviced offices. And digital advertising, again, very luckily, it's something that you can just turn off. I mean, if you can say to Google, well, from tomorrow, I'm not going to pay you a penny, and they sort of shrug and go, okay. So we were able to manipulate those levers, very quickly and very efficiently, to make sure that we didn't have as big an impact or a lasting impact in terms of the cost base.
That's fantastic. So I know there are businesses that have forward contracts with advertising space, print advertising space and what have you as well. So and they would have suffered a heck of a lot more. So no, fantastic that you created a model for yourself that was flexible enough to take advantage of the new world that we found ourselves in. So that was brilliant. So moving forward a few months, obviously things have changed a heck of a lot since we first went into lockdown on March the 23rd last year. What wins have you seen, would you say, Michael?
Well, for us, the win, and I'm sort of thinking about this. The win is not something wouldn't be able to put a finger on a specific thing that has happened, but the win for us is an ongoing. What's the best way to describe it? It's an ongoing mindset shift. As sort of flexible working and hybrid working has taken off, certainly over the last sort of 6 to 8 months, it's been such a huge hot topic. Companies are much more reluctant to commit to longer term leases, simply because of short and medium term uncertainty in their business models. It's leading to a massive interest in serviced offices and flex space, as it's called, which is obviously what we provide. And I think these environments, I don't know whether you know any of them, but I guess what other names that people would have heard of. WeWork and Regus are probably the sort of the biggest brands that people spring to mind with people. These companies invest a huge amount in building these working environments that are included for companies that want to rent there. So everything from lounges to bars to roof terraces to gyms. If you think about it, it's probably there somewhere. So really, people's focus is changing to more the environment and how it impacts businesses and people in terms of well-being, satisfaction, retention. So for me, the win really is the sort of longer-term change in how office space is approached, more as a strategic business lever, if you like, as opposed to anything else. At least that's what I'm hoping. Certainly, there seems to be a huge amount of pent-up demand for the type of product that we act on behalf of.
It does make perfect sense. It's sort of who knows, you could be looking back at COVID in 5 years' time saying that was the best thing that ever happened to us. Because
I think there is a lot of that, and certainly an awful lot of traditional real estate companies, like the big guns like Savills and Jones Lang LaSalle and CBRE and the like, they're all forecasting a huge increase in the market share of flexible office space moving forward. As yet, I think it's yet to materialize fully, but as furlough comes to an end and we continue to recover out of COVID, I'm struggling to see how it cannot be a massively increasing market.
Yeah, I remember sort of a few months ago speaking to various clients and saying, well, I can see everyone working from home forever and a day now, and thought, no, not really, because there are huge disadvantages to working from home. There are pluses as well, don't get me wrong, but what I'm seeing more now is people going for some sort of hybrid model. Yeah. And like you say, a flexible arrangement is gonna work really well for most businesses, I would have thought. So no, that's a really great point. So what sort of since the original issue of obviously going in and having to furlough everybody, what sort of other issues have you had to overcome along the way then, Michael?
Well, the biggest one really is it's for us. We've always been a people business. So actually, the biggest issue has been keeping people happy, keeping people motivated. It's whilst, and again, this is going to be sort of a very, very honest thing for me to say, it's incredibly difficult to make people see beyond the things that you're doing on a practical level to keep a business afloat during something as difficult as this. And I'm sure we've all experienced that. We've all been backs against the wall trying to do everything possible to make sure we're here on the other side. And we're okay. The last few months of trading has been good, fantastic. But we had a big issue in terms of keeping people that went on long-term furlough. I think despite the fact that we did it because of it was the best thing for us to do in order to keep as many people as humanly possible. I think the reaction to it was half and half. A lot of people felt valued, and they felt that we were doing what we could to maintain staff numbers. Others, were resentful of being on furlough for a long period of time. And I think it's incredibly difficult to motivate people when there is such a level of uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future. Because as much as we could say, yeah, it's fine, we want to bring everybody back, it's our intention to bring everybody back. So some people just can't see that and won't believe that. But the motivation and happiness is in a sales driven business, right? So we employ a small army of extremely motivated, money hungry individuals. The other thing is just the working environment is all well and good, but when you're not making any commission because nobody wants office space.
Yeah.
So for us, it's been people and how to keep people happy.
I've heard that as well.
We succeeded in some ways and didn't succeed in others, and it is what it is. But I think we're out the other side for the most part now. So.
Good stuff. So what would you say you've learned about yourself during this period in terms of the way things have gone, the way you've reacted to it personally, Michael?
I've learned that I'm a lot tougher than I thought I was. Look, listen, I've been with Flexi 18 years now. So I worked through recessions, I worked through Brexit, I worked through the Lehman financial crash, all of which had huge impacts on real estate approaches and stuff, but nothing like this. So and the first lockdown was fine. Second lockdown was absolutely awful, and I think that everybody says the same thing, but it really hit physically, mentally, all this sort of stuff. But now that we're here and I can see the green shoots of market recovery, I'm looking forward to sort of September, holidays finishing, furlough finishing. People will be really coming to terms with what they do need from office space moving forward. I think I've come out of it personally just with a much stronger sense of self-belief and generally positivity, really. If you can get through this, you can get through pretty much anything.
Absolutely, and I think that obviously it was extremely unpredictable. We didn't no idea that this could ever happen, despite the fact it has happened historically. And I think it was Bill Gates ran a TED talk on it about 4 years ago, warning us of the chances of this happening. And it was a proper "I told you so" moment for Bill. I feel. But yeah, I mean, having gone through this, you sort of do develop that level of resilience that sort of says to you, well, hang on a minute, this might be the worst in terms of not a recession as such, but a downturn in the economy that's going to affect us personally that we will probably ever see in our lives. And if you think, well, we've worked our way through that and come out the other side, we can sort of look forward with great optimism that if something else comes along, it's not going to be as bad, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't think of anything coming up that would actually make me blink anymore. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So from a personal point of view, then, when we come out of lockdown, the original lockdown or the second lockdown, what was the first thing you did that you were able to do that you weren't able to do before during lockdown?
I visited with my mum. We just sat there for hours and hours and hours, having too many glasses of wine, and just chatting about stuff, that sort of. I mean, we had Christmas over Zoom and birthdays over Zoom and all of this sort of stuff. But it was glorious just to sit in an armchair in a garden and wrap up tight and just talk. And after that, I went to play golf, incredibly badly, may I add.
Because you're out of practice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm okay now, but boy, the first game was I left many a crater in the fairways. So
even so, I bet you were happy, right? Anyway.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Even though you lost 17 balls.
Exactly.
Good stuff. So the final two questions, I suppose, I'm going to wrap up with are, if anyone's watching this right now, what sort of businesses and what sort of people do you actually help? Obviously, you've already said it's an international business and you can help them find offices anywhere in the world. But what sort of segments of the population do you feel could really benefit from a conversation with you right now, Michael?
Well, so I don't think it's a limiting. We help pretty much everybody. So I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche. It's like, what's your ideal customer? But really, it's anyone either looking for new office space or considering, changing their approach to to real estate, but through the use of more flexible contracts, office contracts. I mean, you know, we help anyone from a one-man band wanting an office for 3 months, all the way to multinationals who we advise on property strategy. So it's really, you know, there is no limit or lower size as to who we can help or who we're willing to help. You know, pre-COVID, we got inquiries from 2,500 people a month looking for this stuff across the UK and beyond. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a one-person office or a short-term contract or a 1,000 people for an entire building. We're happy to take it on, and we've got experts in the right areas for each one of them.
Good stuff. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, just before I go, how best can these people reach you if they're looking for help, Michael?
Well, it's I'll give my contact details if that's all right. I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's a fairly unique surname. I think I'm the first. Hit. But my email at Flexi is michael.dubicki@flexioffices.com. We do have a mainline number, which is 0808 291 2060. But my mobile is always available, 07432 128 618. Or you can make an inquiry via our website. There's all routes are available. But if if anyone wants to just have a general conversation about the services that we offer or flexible workspace in general, then I'm happy to pick up the phone and have a general chat.
Good stuff. That's absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Michael. I really appreciate that. And yeah,
Pleasure.
Catch up soon.
Wonderful. Thanks very much indeed, Phil.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers.